Hello, Junior Miss girls. Just got done filming a tutorial for the preteens, and I was like, well, let's just do one for the Junior Miss too. So this is a makeup tutorial with yours truly. I know you're so excited. So I am barefaced. I literally just wiped off the makeup that I did for the preteen video, so I'm a little irritated. So I'm gonna start with some moisturizer. My skin needs moisturizer in order to survive. If your skin doesn't need moisturizer in order to survive, good for you, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I would recommend a moisturizer or just like some kind of skin prep in general. It's a long day. If you are an oily person, you might want to like prime your skin with, you know, something that is good for oily skin. If you have super dry skin, you'll definitely want to put a little bit of moisturizer on. Just whatever your normal skincare routine is, do that, because we definitely don't want to be trying new things on our skin on pageant day and risk, you know, that mess. So as you guys can see, I have an eyebrow slit. I know, boo, shame. So I'm going to start with my eyebrows. A lot of people don't start with their eyebrows. I know that. I personally think it is best to start with them. If you are a makeup person and you already are like, ugh, Rachel, what the heck? You don't need to be telling me how to do my makeup. I can do my brows later. That's fine. But if you're like, oh my gosh, Rachel, please help me, I have no idea what I'm doing, I recommend starting with eyebrows. And here is why. If you start with your eyebrows, if you accidentally do them too dark, if you do them and you're like, oh my god, I hate how this looks, you can wipe it off and none of your other makeup is affected. If you already have foundation and powder on and then you decide to do your eyebrows and they come out looking like caterpillars, you're kind of screwed. So I start with them. I'm going to take a eyebrow pencil that is the same color as my hair. For reference, this is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. I'm in the shade Taupe. You guys will obviously be different. If you're like, oh my gosh, my eyebrows are like blonde and you can't see them, I would definitely recommend either doing a little bit of pencil or like a tinted brow gel. I know NYX sells tinted brow gels. I am not a tinted brow gel wearer, so I can't recommend a great one, but I'm sure if you like looked it up on TikTok, you could find a good one. So here's the great thing about doing eyebrows first. So let's say, for example, that I'm filling in that I'm using the correct end and I'm filling in my eyebrow. Oh my gosh, what did I do? Never fear, because you don't have foundation on. You can just take a makeup wipe and wipe it off and boom, perfect. Not that perfection is a real thing, but anyways, brows are done. Next, I'm gonna go in with I'm gonna go in with foundation. This is the Maybelline Super Stay 24-hour skin tint. This is good stuff. I'm not telling you that you have to buy this, but if you don't already have a skin tint, highly recommend. I also like the e.l.f. concealer, the one with the white top though. The black top one isn't good. So I'm gonna use Maybelline Super Stay. You know, if you're using a different foundation, that's fine too. But we wanna make sure that we're using a like light to medium coverage. We do not want or need a full coverage foundation. So we're just gonna put a little bit on the back of our hand. We want to avoid putting like makeup straight onto our face, because then if we put too much, it's hard to get rid of. So I'm just gonna take a little bit and I'm just gonna kind of dot this sort of all over my face. Because this is a lower coverage foundation, I can dot it all over and it's fine. If the foundation that you have is a little bit more full coverage than this, just use less. Another option is like if you're using mom's makeup or something and she has full coverage foundation. With most foundations, try it ahead of time, but with most foundations you can mix a little bit of your moisturizer in with your foundation and you can create a skin tint. That's what I used to do when I was in middle school. So I've got this on. This set I'm gonna do with a sponge. So you can get sponges at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, the dollar store has them. Heck, the dollar store might have this stuff. Don't know. So if you are a sponge person, then you can do a sponge like this. And if you're a brush person, you can use a brush, but we want to make sure we are using tapping motions when we're putting on our foundation, because if we swipe, then we'll get like the texture of the brush hairs in our foundation and we might disrupt our skin, make it red irritated, all that kind of stuff. So as you can see, it looks pretty much the same either way. I prefer to use a sponge because that's what I learned with. I think it looks better with a sponge, but if you're a brush person, use your brush. Okay, so now that we've got a nice even layer over everything, I can start to look at what my skin specifically needs. So if you put a layer of skin tints, tinted moisturizer, whatever, if you put a layer on and you're like, great, I'm ready for the next step, fine. If you're looking at yourself and you're like, ugh, I've got a big pimple here, or, oh, I have redness right here, and I've got a little bit of redness right here, or if you have like a big honking pimple on Pageant Day, Lord forbid, or something, then you can go in with just a little bit more and go in just on the places that you feel like you need a little boost. Nose is pretty red right now too, because I've put on and taken off makeup like 3 times in a row now. And in these problem areas, like if this were a pimple or something, we want to keep our blending area kind of small. So we'll just tap over it until you can't see anymore. If you're a finger makeup applicator person, you can use your finger with tinted moisturizer, just like this. Just a little light, just like that. If you're covering like a pimple or something, the less that you tap at it, the better, because the more you tap, usually it can irritate your skin a little bit. So we've got a nice even layer now. I am a person that has dark under eye bags because I don't sleep. So if you're a person that needs a little bit of concealer, we can use just a little bit. We do not want to do the like big triangle situation, especially if you're using this e.l.f. concealer. This stuff's got some coverage. If you have like a pimple that needs taken care of, try this stuff out. We do want to work a little bit quicker with this stuff though, because sometimes it dries down. So when we're doing our concealer, we're going to keep it nice and close to our eye like that. And sometimes to get my sponge a little bit smaller so it fits under my eye, I'll just squeeze it like this. And if you feel like you can skip concealer, skip it. That's totally fine too. So now, some of you ginormous people might be makeup people. Like you might have a little bit of makeup in your collection. So I'm actually going to show you like 2 different sort of options, I guess, for how you can do blush and bronzer. So I'm going to show you the liquid version on this side, and I'm going to show you the powder version on this side. So if we're going to do liquid, we want to make sure that we aren't powdering our face with like loose setting powder or powder foundation before we do our cream products. Otherwise, they'll look a little silly. So if we're going to use cream, again, we're going to put things on the back of our hand, and we're going to make sure that we wipe the makeup off the back of our hand before we go into our interview. So a lot of you guys might recognize this is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Contour Wand. I'm in like the lightest shade because I'm pale. So I'm going to put some on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to take a brush like this. I'm going to tap on it a little bit. And then if I go like this, from here to this like little plug in my ear, that's where we're going to put it. It's just like right there, and we're going to blend upwards. So we don't want things to go below here, just upwards. And when I did that with my brush, it kind of got rid of my foundation a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. I'm going to tap right here. Blend it up into my hairline. I usually like to do makeup before hair so that I can pull it back out of my way. And we're just going to do a little bit of tapping. You can also do this with a sponge. I'm going to take sort of the side of my sponge here and get into this bronzer shade. I'm going to put a little bit on my forehead. Do that on your cheek too, same thing. I like to put a little bit on my jawline. You folks are a little bit older, so I'm sure that you guys know your face better than the preteens did, for sure. And then I also like to put a little bit on my nose. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm just going to put like a minuscule amount. And I should have put it on my hand first. But I've also been doing makeup like for a very long time. Like 10 years. So, and then for blush, this is an e.l.f. cream blush. This one is super bright. I wish I had one that wasn't as bright, but I like to use these e.l.f. blushes a lot for like stage because I'm an actor. So I'm going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. And then I'm going to take, this is actually the e.l.f. like blush brush, and I'm going to tap a little bit onto my brush. So, and then I'm going to put it on my cheek up here. When we're putting on blush, if I look straight ahead into my mirror and I draw an imaginary line, like from the corner of my eye, sort of here, do you see what we're saying? We don't want our blush to come any further in than that. Like we don't want to put blush, like smile and put it right here. We don't want that. We want it to go up here. And then if you ever feel like, oh my goodness, I put way too much blush on, you can go back in with your sponge and tap over it to make it look just like a little bit nicer. I like to do this either way just to sort of blend it into the rest of my skin. Okay, So if you don't have cream products and you're gonna do powder, blush, and bronzer, this is how we're gonna do that. So I'm going to use some loose setting powder. You can also use a like compact powder like this if that's what you have. I'm just gonna take a big powder brush like this. I'm gonna dip it into my loose powder, and then you can see I've got a lot on there. So then I'm just gonna dip it into the lid, get rid of that excess, and then I'm just gonna tap this all over. When we're working on the face in general, we want to remember tapping motions and not swiping motions, just like as a general rule. Tap over the whole thing. Okay. So if you are a powder bronzer person, we're gonna take a little bronzer brush like this, and this is a very expensive bronzer. This is the Too Faced one. I doubt that any of you guys have this. Whatever you have is fine. From the drugstore is fine. We kind of want to avoid like sparkles, but I know like Physicians Formula I think has a pretty good one. There are bronzers that exist in the drugstore that you can get instead. So we're gonna put that in the same areas, on the forehead. And then to do my nose, I'm just gonna take like a little brush like this and put just a little bit down the side of my nose, just because it makes me feel better. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. There's that part. And then we're gonna take a little bit of blush, just a little. And again, same rule, corner of our eye, blush goes back here. Okay, now we are onto our eyes. If you have beautifully, naturally dark eyebrows, I'm so happy for you. That is not the life that I live. But if you already have dark eyebrows, just use some gel. Or honestly, if they stay put, just leave them as is. Just, you know, run a little spoolie through them. This is a clear brow gel. This one's by Benefit. It is expensive. I know you guys probably won't have this, and that is fine. Whatever works for you. So now for our eyeshadow, this is where things can sometimes get a little bit tricky. So we have a couple options here. Option one is we take our bronzer and a little brush. So we can take our bronzer and tap in just a little bit, tap off the excess, and then just right up close to where our eyelashes are, we can put on just a little bit. We can use circular motions or like windshield wiper motions, just a little bit, and see how close that is to my actual eye. So like when I look, it doesn't look too crazy. So now we can take a little bit of a bigger brush and blend the edge of this. Windshield wiper motions, like if I look like this, windshield wiper, swipe, 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 like that. You can also use circular motions like this. And there is just a little bit of eyeshadow, just a little bit. For a junior miss, we really don't need very much. Oh, I was supposed to show you option two. Option two is using an actual eyeshadow. These are Morphe eyeshadows. This shade is a good shade. It's just kind of like a medium brown. I really would just use a bronzer though. And we're just gonna focus this on the outside edge like this. And then we're gonna take our little bit of a bigger brush and go windshield wiper, a little circle out here. Just a little bit, just a wash, a hint, a kiss, if you will, of color. So for Junior Miss, we don't want to use any sparkly stuff anywhere. We don't want glitter. We don't really want highlighter, especially on stage. I know like in day-to-day highlighter is like fine, and like if you are crown queen and want to wear highlighter, go for it. But on stage, we don't want to wear highlighter because when the lights on stage hit you, it just makes you look sweaty. So I choose not to wear highlighter. At this point, we can do some mascara. I am an experienced person that knows how to use this contraption. If you don't, that's fine too, but I'm going to curl my eyelashes. And then I'm going to use, this is the Maybelline Sky High mascara. A little bit. And then I guess an optional thing you could do if you feel like you want or need to, is you can take a darker brown like this and a little teeny tiny angled brush and just go on the very outside and do like, I don't know, like a little eyeliner situation. For me, it just makes that much of a difference. but it's super natural. Because of the shape of my eyes, it looks good for me to have a little bit of a brown eyeliner just on the outside. With Junior Miss, we don't want any eyeliner on the bottom, and we don't want any eyeshadow that we put on to go past the middle of our eye. If it goes any further than that, then it starts getting too dark. So we're just gonna a little bit on, and if you don't want to do that step, you totally don't have to. That's just what makes me feel confident and pretty. I'm gonna use the same makeup wipe from earlier, and we're gonna get rid of the stuff on the back of our hand because we don't want blush on our hand when we go into the interview room. And then when I do my makeup, I always get foundation on my lips, so I like to take a makeup wipe. You could also use a Q-tip with a little bit of makeup remover or water and just get rid of the foundation on your lips. And then we can use a lip gloss, any old lip gloss. This one is from Ulta Beauty. A little bit on. This one's got a little bit of a tint to it. If you have like a I don't really have a lipstick that's like an amazing color. This is sort of like a little bit of a pinky color that'd be okay for Junior Miss. For lipstick for Junior Miss, I like to start with either a lip gloss or like a Vaseline or a chapstick or an Aquaphor already on the lips. And then I like to take a lipstick like this. You don't really want to use a liquid lipstick. Take one like this and just kind of like pat it in the center. Just do like a little like that. Because if you like fully swipe it on your dry lips, then it's gonna like give you full color, and that's not what we're wanting. We're just wanting like a little, just like a little hint, you know? So we're just gonna tap this over top of our lip gloss or Aquaphor or Vaseline or Burt's Bees, whatever chapstick you like to use. Just like that. Okay, get the lipstick off the back of my hand. Okay, so this is looking like a perfect Junior Miss makeup to me. If you have like setting spray you want to use or whatever, that's fine too. Between interview and on stage, you don't really need to do anything different or darken anything. You might throw in your little lipstick and your powder into your pageant bag so that you can touch up your lipstick, because you definitely want to make sure that you eat and drink something after interviews and before pageant. And then if you get a little shiny or a little sweaty, you can always take your little compact like this and put a little powder on your nose. Yeah, that is it. If you have any questions, totally feel free to ask me. It is super important that we try to practice our makeup before pageant day, especially if we've never done makeup before, or if we've never done pageant makeup before, or if we're trying out a new product, or any number of things. Because if we don't try it ahead of time, we might make mistakes, we might get stressed out, we might be running late, all those things. So if you can practice ahead of time, absolutely. If you need an adult to help you with your makeup, don't be afraid to ask. If there's something that you don't have, that's okay. The only thing that I would say is like a definite a Junior Miss needs is you kind of need to have mascara on, whether it's black or brown, that's fine. I do think that a Junior Miss should have a little bit of like coverage on their face, whether it's a little bit of concealer under the eyes or a little bit of tinted moisturizer or whatever. And a Junior Miss should definitely have a little colored something on her lips so that we can see her lips on stage. If you want to use this makeup tutorial to practice, or if you want to set it up on pageant day, we can do our makeup together like a little FaceTime moment. I totally encourage that. Yeah, if you're watching this on pageant day, good luck and have fun.